Good day, everyone. I am Christine Meiji Vargas, a student from Bulacan State University, who is currently taking a bachelor's degree of public administration. I'm now here to present a research title, The Role of the Civil Society Organization to the Local Development Council in Decision Making. For the abstract, the participation of the civil society organizations in the governance as outlined in the 1987 Constitution ensured the promotion and protection of people's participation at all levels of social, political, and economic decision making. The study identifies the extent of the civil society organization's role in the program and policy implementation of the local development council. It also seeks to determine whether the number of members inside the organization influences the civil society organization's ability to effectively voice issues from the public. Hagonoy is a coastal municipality in the province of Bulacan. It is considered as a first-class municipality with a total population of 133,448, consisting of 26 barangays. The town of Calumpit forms its northern boundary, followed by the municipality of Paombong on the east, the southern portion of Masantol, Pampanga on the south, and the Manila Bay shoreline on the west. The study will identify the extent of the civil society organization's role in the program and policy implementation of the Local Development Council in Hagonoy. The research will also identify if the classification of a municipality has a great influence in the civil society's organization participation. Also, to see how effectively they can voice the issues from the public and what are the contributions of the local development council to them for an effective execution of their projects and programs. The study utilizes a quantitative research design using a purpose of sampling, and the results show key obstacles that the CSOs face during policy formulations and implementations, which require further enhancement in terms of the development planning decision making processes. In the introduction, the civil society is a non-profit volunteer citizens organization motivated by advocacy or shared interest. According to the United Nations, CSOs primarily support a range of services and humanitarian inspections and notify the government of citizens' concern, keep an eye on policies, and promote community-level political engagement. The Asian Development Bank acknowledged that good governance could only be achieved via the collaboration of CSOs and the government. Furthermore, local development units were accredited by a number of national government agencies as civil society organizations wherein its eligibility to carry out initiatives or activities is determined by its accreditation. For the problem and its background, the people's participation is a necessity in the government and is an essential component of democratic governance, as it ensures transparency, accountability, and responsiveness to the needs and aspirations of the people. This contributes to attain international, national, or local goals. Therefore, their active involvement in the decision making process affects their lives. In a local development council, people's participation can be actively present in various ways. First is representation, collaboration and consultation, and lastly, transparency and accountability. Participatory governance in civil society organization involves the active involvement of various stakeholders in the decision-making processes of the organization, and the goal of participatory governance is to allow the citizen to have the authority to directly engage in the decision-making process in public matters and manage community resources in the public service delivery. This study aims to know and understand the extent of the participatory governance of civil society organizations in program and policy implementations and to evaluate the potential obstacles of CSOs that may hinder their valuable contribution to local development efforts. While CSOs in the municipalities of Hagonoy, Bulacan support community development and participate with local government, their degree of involvement and impact vary depending on factors including the availability of resources, political climate, and community engagement. The methodology for this research is that this research aims to identify the extent of the civil society organization's role in the program policy implementation of the local development council. The quantitative approach uses purposive sampling to determine the respondents for the primary source of the data collection. There is also the usage of internal sources from the local development council and external sources from the local government unit. The researchers use a survey questionnaire as a primary data source to determine the extent of the civil society organizations from Hagonoy, Bulacan. Informed consent was used to guarantee that ethical standards are met. The primary data gathered from the civil society organizations representatives from various organizations offer numerous services and functions. These accredited civil society organizations have been recognized since 2022 by the Local Development Council of the Municipality of Hagonoy, Bulacan. Furthermore, for the secondary source of data, the researchers gathered executive orders, comprehensive development plans, and the annual investment plans and programs from the Municipality of Hagonoy. The participants for this research is in the Municipality of Hagonoy. There are a total number of 41 private organizations and 24 of which are accredited by the Local Development Council from the accreditation of the year 2022. To show the result, we have a graph here wherein the total average of Hagonoy in the Local Development Council in terms of conceptualization, implementation, and evaluation are 35.6% with 4.3 general weighted mean for conceptualization, 24.4% with general weighted mean of 3.3 for implementation, and 37.0% for evaluation with a general weighted mean of 4.5. The result shows that the profile of CSOs does not directly affect its participatory role when it comes to program and policy implementation of the local development council. Rather, their decision-making processes are affected by these three: inadequate use of relevant data and information, ineffective of advocacy, and lack of monitoring and evaluation. First is the inadequate use of relevant data and information. Based on our results and findings, there is a limited use of relevant information and data whenever there is a policy making processes. It is difficult to implement programs and policies to contribute for sustainable development without the use of legitimate resources that could effectively advocate their concerns and contribute to influence in policy activities. Second, ineffective of advocacy. The absence of relevant data and information causes struggle to advocate specific programs and policy. Third, lack of monitoring and evaluation. The impact of the programs are low due to the limited capacity of monitoring and evaluation. For the conclusion, although the CSOs show the initiative and partnership to conduct programs and policy, the lack of engagement can vary and should be prioritized in order for it to be sustainable. The lack of relevant data and high-quality information provided by the CSOs can be the factor for this insufficiency. The researchers hereby recommend the following. First is to listen to communities' ideas and opinions. In order to have a proper representation in people's participation to the policy and program implementation, CSO should take communities' ideas and opinions. With this, the local development council decision making towards program policy administration can be enhanced by being aligned with what the people need. Second, being a representative, ensuring various perspectives are taken into account in decision making processes. CSOs can provide platform to coastal communities like Hagonoy if their concerns and priorities has source of legitimacy and thereby make an influence. Third, the quality of evidence. It is crucial to consider data and information. By means of evidence-based approach, root causes of problems more likely addresses the issues and tailoring it with the specific needs provides a solid foundation in program and policy design, implementation, and evaluation. And lastly, technology as a tool. Other than the idea that as a primary source of relevant information, technology is a part of their system to monitor and evaluate the programs and policy implementation will be beneficial. CSOs can easily communicate to provide data or findings to stakeholders that can be used and help as a form of technology. While in monitoring and evaluation, technology will help CSOs to track and acquire a timely feedback that will enable them to learn and adapt in issues and problems. With that, this will allow them to identify quickly the challenges around their community.